Chapter 7. The Hunt. You are probably wondering what happened about the hunt. With good reason. I must say you have wondered. This was no ordinary hunt, you see, for it was a hunt with the dragon. On the day that Darius and Philip had arranged together to hunt, Philip walked into the forest, totally unprepared. He climbed on top of Darius, and they walked deep into the forest, even deeper than the big tree. They went beyond the borders of Philip's yard, looking for game. Philip, of course, was totally clueless on how to hunt at all. Luckily, Darius was a good hunter-dragon. He made sure that Philip was not too loud or otherwise making poor decision. Philip got off of Darius, and they both walked low and slow. Philip didn't know why at first. Then Darius arched his back and narrowed his eyes. Without warning, he pounced on an unseen and unsuspecting raccoon. Darius picked up the animal. Philip couldn't look. Darius slit the animal's throat so it would be quick and painless for the animal. "Got one," said Darius proudly in announcement. Darius proudly announced. They continued on with their hunt for wild game. Oh, I must tell you, Darius stored the dead carcass in between two of the spikes on his back. Philip thought it would fall off at first, but it stayed on surprisingly well. It never fell off. The things that you might think are pointless on a dragon are really quite useful, such as the spikes just mentioned. You can't judge a spike by its I don't know. Anyways, back to the actual story. When they had gotten the raccoon, it was safely stored in between two of Darius's spikes. They soon spotted a rabbit among the leaves of the forest. Darius got very low. He got so low as not to be seen, but the rabbit saw him right away. But the rabbit saw him anyway and bounded off into the forest. Darius blew out curses but in dragon's lips, which he probably shouldn't have done. It is quite rude to use profanity. Anyway, back to the novel. Crap! Time to get back to the novel. Anyway, they pressed on against the rabbit, pursuing him with no luck. They just kept going. They followed him and followed him until they could never seem to leave the rabbit's wary eye. They tried creeping up on him, and they tried pouncing, but nothing seemed to work. You may have heard the term somewhere, wild goose chase, and I will change it to wild rabbit chase, which is far more appropriate to this given situation. The truth is, most people never chase a goose, but it is more likely that you chase a rabbit. Whether in a desert or in a pen, but it is more likely that you chase a rabbit, whether in a desert or in a pet store or on an abandoned island. But I'm getting lost on the subject once again. They finally found a way to trap the rabbit, hiding it in one place and letting the rabbit come to them, stopping this mad wild rabbit chase. The poor little bunny rabbit had no idea. The cute bunny bounced up right into the direction where Darius and Philip were hiding. If this book were a slasher film, the audience would be screaming, "No, don't do it!" right about now. If this book were a slasher film, the audience would be screaming, "No, don't do it!" right about now. There was a quick jerk from Darius's leg, and the rabbit was caught. They had finally gotten the bunnies of their labor. As they continued their hunt, they caught many more things, such as squirrels and more rabbits and raccoons. There was a sense of friendship between the two of them. This, along with other things such as joy, will make all the difference in the rest of the novel you are reading right now. They kept on keeping on with the hunt until they caught 7 small game, which was quite a bit. They brought it back, and Darius skinned and gutted the meat quite quickly, but outside the cave, as Philip insisted. Darius came in and roasted some meat, half of it actually. He was hungry. Philip ran into the house and retrieved some food of his own and a book to read to Darius. When he returned, Darius smiled when he saw the book. He loved books, as you all know, as you know all too well. "I got a new book for you," said Philip happily. Darius smiled brightly. "I knew you would get another one. I knew you would get another one soon." "What's it called?" he said. "It's called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, by a man named Mark Twain. He's very famous." Philip cracked open the spine of the book and began reading. Once again, as always, Darius was enchanted by this beautiful story. He just knew that humans were geniuses. This was a work of art, worthy of reading. They finished many chapters a day, until Philip was too tired to read any more, which was when they laid down and talked, making small talk with each other, talking about nothing important. "Philip," said Darius, "would you, by any chance, want to, I don't know, find a book about dragons for our next book we read together?" he said. "Well, it will be hard to find one with the dragons as the protagonist," said Philip. "What's a protagonist?" said Darius, completely and utterly confused. "A protagonist is the good guy, and the antagonist is the bad guy. It's the last book we read. The woman Laura was the protagonist, and the soldier's captain was the antagonist," was Philip's highly educated answer to the question. He kept on teaching literature to Darius so that he understood everything. If Darius were to indicate the book, if Darius were to indicate a book report right now, he would ace it. "Literature? Literature is a beautiful thing," said Philip, towards the end of his English lecture. "As Ernest Hemingway said, though, the first half of anything is junk." Yes, Darius was also taught in the writing process as well. By this time, Darius was tired. He needed a nap after hearing all this information. He needed a nap after hearing all that information. They both agreed they should have a quickie sleep afterwards. They dozed off in peace and harmony. Philip woke up. He was in a town in a field, and there were children running through the streets yelling out something. He could not hear anything but his own voice. A woman came up to him. She said, "Would you like to stay at my house?" Philip could not understand her. "What?" he said, trying to hear her. She repeated herself. "Would you like to stay at my house?" she said once again. All poor Philip could hear was a faint muffled noise, as if listening to a conversation that was happening above water while you were underwater. Philip woke up again. He realized it had been a dream, a very strange dream. It was unexplainable. But this did not matter right now. He woke up Darius. It was 5:45. It was time for Philip to go back inside. When his parents got home, he told them he had played with his imaginary friend, pretending that they were hunting, reading him Tom Sawyer, and taking a nap. They had no idea he had really done this, but that was the fun part.